The International Trade and Industry Ministry, or Miti, has proposed an advanced alert system for industries to the National Security Council in an effort to help businesses survive the third wave of the Covid-19 pandemic.
As the Miti minister, you were put in charge of most of the economic activities under the CMO. And then, you had to prepare, your ministry itself had to prepare all the SOPs and everything. And it came as quite a surprise to a lot of people, barbers, hawkers. Some of these things actually come under Miti. How do you make sure, while you are the Miti minister, how do you make sure that these small economies which Malaysia actually depend on as part of the bigger economy, that these small economies thrive, survive, and actually don't, shutter up?
Well, that is the biggest challenge, to ensure that they will continue to operate. And of course, the last thing that we want to see is for them to remove the employment of our employees. So the SMEs, the informal sectors are very crucial to our national economy. Right. But at the same time, as a responsible government, we have to strike a balance between life and livelihoods. So that was a difficult call then. So the best thing to do, based on the advice of KKM, is just to lock down and to stop all the movement. But again, we realize each day we are losing about 2.5 billion ringgit a day. As much as we want to mitigate the effect of the pandemic, but at the same time we want our economy to grow. Of course, we have introduced so many packages for the last few months, Penjana, Prihatin, Kereta Prihatin, but no amount of funding can ensure you that the whole thing will come back to normal in a very short period of time. We just injected 305 billion ringgit under the 3 stimulus packages. And the gig economy, the Makcik Kia, and also the informal sectors, the SMEs, they are just about to restart the economy. Then came this third wave. Now you are seeing the numbers are rising. Even today, it's quite alarming. It has gone back to 1,300 new cases. But we can't afford to impose MCO. But what is needed now is clarity. So we just introduced to the NSC last week the new alert system. Before it gets to that level of whatever you call it, MCO or CMCO, the industries will be alerted. So this is the SOP that you need to comply. I think with this clarity and new SOP, that would help us to mitigate the situation currently. Of course, our budget is focusing on B40 and SMEs, but now we are getting some criticism to also address the M40, which we are also addressing in the budget. I'm not saying that we ignore them completely, but certainly they need more attention from the government, so we are looking into that and see how best we can facilitate their needs.
How are you going to make sure your ministry actually gets its act together so that the people know where to go to and what are the main SOPs and who they can complain to? It seems there's a lot of confusion here now.
In the beginning, I admit there was a lot of confusion on the ground about the SOPs and no clarity. But I think now we already streamline all the SOPs, and Miti already engaged, as I mentioned earlier, with all the Chamber of Commerce, Association of Industries, local and foreign. We also engaged with all the ministers involved to make sure that this SOP is meant for everyone on the ground. And I think with the series of engagement that we undertook for the last few months, the current SOP is acceptable. But again, I have to be honest with you, it is not about SOP now. It's about the compliance to the SOP. They're two different issues. I think now the public, the business people, they know about the SOP, where you have to use the face mask, you have to clean, you have to keep the physical distancing. But it is very unfortunate. You can see from the numbers of summons and arrests on daily basis. I mean, we want everyone to come on board and support, because we don't have the vaccine. The only thing we have now is the SOP. And that is the only way we can contain the spread of COVID-19. Because if we continue with even the CMCO, the impact on the economy is severe. We can't go on like that. So if we impose MCO, certainly that is the best solution to contain the COVID-19. But the impact on the economy is even worse. So if we prolong with CMCO, meaning that you prolong the recovery of the economy, so again, you need to strike that balance. So we really urge every citizen to comply with the SOP, because that is the only solution that we have for now.
As for the APEC Forum, which Malaysia is hosting this year, the minister says the government will continue to engage foreign business leaders on behalf of SMEs and the Malaysian private sector.
Whatever you may say, the world, the international organization acknowledge that Malaysia is one of the best countries in the world in managing COVID. I think that restores the confidence of the investors to continue and invest in Malaysia. And of course, we will share with them about our stimulus packages and also our budget to attract more investment into Malaysia. So that certainly would benefit our local and domestic players.